Hello again, everybody. Welcome to USA Wrestling Weekly. I'm Scott Casper. It's time for this week's news from USA Wrestling, the national governing body of our sport. This week, we bring news from New York City. The historic Grapple at the Garden event was hosted at the world-famous Madison Square Garden. But first, we share our condolences with all the families and friends who are grieving in the small Connecticut suburb of Newtown after the unspeakable tragedy that took place last Friday at Sandy Hook Elementary School. We're sad to report that one of those killed in the attack was a 6-year-old wrestler named Jack Pinto. Jack was a first-year member of both the Newtown Youth Wrestling Association and of USA Wrestling. Throughout the weekend, the wrestling community and the world paid tribute to those affected by this terrible tragedy. Prior to the start of the Grapple at the Garden, thousands of people shared an emotional moment of silence to honor young Jack and all of the victims. Members of the George Mason University Wrestling Squad wrote Jack's name on their headgear during the bout against Drexel at the Garden. Now, none of the wrestlers knew Jack or his family personally, but surely gave their heartfelt tribute in honor of a fallen wrestler. George Mason's coaches and support staff wore black ribbons showcasing the word Newtown and the date of the tragedy. The Patriots are led by head coach Joe Russ, a longtime member of USA Wrestling's board of directors and a highly respected leader in our sport. Just days after the tragedy, Jack's teammates at the Newtown Youth Wrestling Association decided to compete in his honor at a tournament in Little Falls, New Jersey. That took place on Sunday. The national media reported Monday that when Jack was laid to rest in emotional service, his teammates wore their wrestling gear to the funeral home in his honor. Jack's favorite athlete was football star Victor Cruz of the New York Giants. He learned about Jack and paid his respects in a very public way. Cruz wrote Jack Pinto, my hero, on one of his football cleats, and rest in peace, Jack Pinto, on the other during the Giants game against the Falcons on Sunday. Cruz explained after the game that he wanted to dedicate the game to little Jack. Well, the Pinto family chose to place Jack in his Victor Cruz jersey when he was finally laid to rest. Needless to say, we're all devastated by the loss of young Jack Pinto and all the victims of this horrific event, and sharing their loss and grief. And we'll dedicate the balance of this broadcast to he and all the victims and their families. To Jack Pinto. Well, another moment of silence took place at the Grapple at the Garden for two New York wrestling legends who passed away this last year, Hall of Fame leaders Bill Farrell and Jeff Blatnick. It was a fitting start for the first college wrestling duel event ever held in the world's most famous arena. The action in the Garden was intense. 14 Division I college programs competed. 12 dual meets were wrestled on 8 mats, featuring a number of All-Americans and ranked athletes. Thousands of fans were in attendance, filling the lower bowl of the Garden and much of the upper deck as well. It was an electric atmosphere for college wrestling. When it was over, another New York legend was honored with the presentation of the first Bill Farrell Outstanding Wrestler Award. That young man, 3-time NCAA champion Kyle Dake of Cornell. He accepted the award from Bill Farrell's daughter after a very memorable performance at the Garden. Dake, who is ranked #1 in all the national rankings, won both of his bouts, competing against nationally ranked athletes both times. In the first dual meet, we go back now. Dake controlled the action throughout the entire bout and defeated #14 ranked Zach Toll of Missouri. The final score 4-0. In his second dual meet, Dake was a very aggressive athlete against 2011 NCAA runner-up Tyler Caldwell of Oklahoma State. He entered the bout ranked #3. The bout was considered the marquee matchup of the day, and Dake emerged with an impressive 4-1 decision. We talked to him at the conclusion of the day's event.
You know, I wrestled all right. I didn't get to my takedowns. I'm gonna keep working on that. If I get to my offense going on the feet and just keep wrestling tough, then I think I'll do a lot better. But I mean, I dominated today, and overall it was a good performance. Team, I wish we did a little bit better, but you know, we got to take what we can get, and we're gonna learn from it.
Well, the event featured 5 dual meets of nationally ranked teams. 2 of those duels featured Cornell. The Big Reds suffered losses in both, close battles, by the way, to higher ranked teams. In the Big Reds' first showdown, they faced #7 ranked Missouri, the Tigers. Missouri jumped out to an early lead with 3 wins of their own. Alan Waters got things rolling with an 8-5 win over nationally ranked Nashawn Garrett at 125. It was a rematch of the Vegas Invitational Finals, also won by Waters. Missouri followed with a victory at 133 by Nathan McCormick. Another big win for the Tigers came at 141 pounds. It was Nick Huckey of Missouri who came out ahead in a seesaw battle with Mike Nevinger of Cornell. He won that one 9-7. Rob Cole's Big Red closed the gap in the middleweights, but Brian Smith's Tigers, well, they won 3 of the last 4 bouts to capture the dual meet, 22-12. The biggest win for the Tigers came at 197 when Brent Haynes scored a pin at 4 minutes 42 seconds over Jace Bennett to clinch the title. The Tigers went out with a roar at heavyweight as past junior world champion Don Bradley overwhelmed Cornell's Striker Lane 7-1. Now in the second round, the Big Red had a strong performance against the number 2 Cowboys of Oklahoma State. They're coached by 2-time Olympic champion John Smith. Many considered this to be the premier duel of the entire day. Well, the meet was tightly contested with both teams winning 5 matches each. The difference in the meet came down to the bonus points earned by the Cowboys. The most important victory for OSU perhaps came at 174 pounds. It was number 1 ranked Chris Perry. He scored a stunning pin over Duke Pickett 5 minutes 56 seconds for 6 big team points. The score 17-16 in favor of Oklahoma State after a Cornell win at 197 pounds. The Cowboys closed out the dual meet with a major decision victory at heavyweight by Alan Galagayev, the Russian native who's affectionately called Z by the Cowboy faithful. Galagayev stopped Striker Lane 12-3, giving Oklahoma State the 21-16 victory. All in all, there were 5 past NCAA champs in action at the Garden, all of whom went undefeated in their bouts. In addition to Kyle Dake, Cornell's lineup featured 2012 NCAA champion Steve Bozak at 184 pounds. He made his return to the Big Red lineup for the first time this year. Bozak won 2 times in the Garden with a 6-0 victory in his first bout over Mike Larson of Missouri, followed by a razor-tight 4-3 win over Chris Chinoma of Oklahoma State in his second bout. Oklahoma State's 2011 NCAA champ Jordan Oliver also won both his matches at 149 pounds. Oliver pinned Jared Presley of Chattanooga 3 minutes 12 seconds in his opening match, then added a major decision over Chris Villalonga of Cornell, 11-3 the final there. Another national champ with 2 wins on the day, Logan Stieber of Ohio State. He was dominant at 133 pounds. Stieber pinned Paul O'Neill of Maryland at 1 minute 26 seconds and then stopped Jamie Franco of Hofstra with a 16-0 tech fall in his second bout of the day. Winning his only match of the day was 2-time NCAA champion Matt McDonough of Iowa at 125 pounds. He scored a 10-2 major decision over nationally ranked Steve Bonanno of Hofstra, that in the first session of the day. In all, it was a great day for the number 4 ranked Buckeyes of Ohio State. They defeated the number 18 ranked Maryland 34-3, then hammered Hofstra 38-3. In addition to Logan Stieber's pin, his younger brother, All-American Hunter Stieber, had a great day of his own with 2 major decisions at 141 pounds. Hunter beat Frank Goodwin of Maryland 14-3 and then controlled nationally ranked Luke Vaith of Hofstra 17-7. Another Buckeye with a big day was 125-pound star Nico Trigas, also a returning All-American. Trigas beat a pair of ranked opponents, stopping Shane Gentry of Maryland 7-1, and then edged out Hofstra's Steve Bonanno 1-0. That was a tight battle. Number 5 ranked Iowa won both of their matches handily, shutting out Hofstra 42-0, and then Bucknell 34-9. The Hawks' 2012 NCAA runner-up, Derek St. John, had 2 big wins at 157 pounds, including a major decision over Hofstra's Cody Rugarella and a pin over Hofstra's Vincent Favia. All-American Tony Ramos was dominant at 133 with 2 major decisions, handling Jamie Franco of Hofstra and Paul Petrov of Bucknell. Iowa's Ethan Lofthouse scored a pin at 184 pounds over Victor Pozzanzi of Hofstra and a major decision over Robert Marchese of Bucknell. Well, in an upset between ranked teams, number 18 ranked Maryland stopped the 14th ranked Huskers of Nebraska. The score 18-17. Talk about a tight one. Nebraska opened strong with big early wins, including a major decision at 133 by Sean Nagel over Josh Polachek. Now, Mark Manning's Huskers had a 17-9 lead at the 174-pound bout mark when Robert Kokish pinned Aaron Norris at 1 minute 38 seconds. Would have been the difference maker. Kerry McCoy's Terps won the final 3 bouts for the victory. The win came in a battle of two ranked wrestlers as Jimmy Sheptock of the Terrapins defeated Josh Einen in overtime 6-4 with a takedown. Are you kidding me? After a win by Christian Boley over Caleb Kolb of Nebraska at 187, it all came down to the heavyweights. And again, it happened in overtime. Carl Buchholz stopped Donnie Longendijk 3-2 on a tiebreaker, scoring the winning escape. The crowd on the edge of their seat applauded the victory, applauded the performance. Now, another weekend action, the finals of the PSAL Holiday Tournament, a top high school event, were held on two mats inside the Garden. Champions were crowned in the women's division and men's division. Long Branch of New Jersey captured the team title, and what a job they did. Overall, organizers were pleased with the crowd turnout and the atmosphere of the Garden. They made money. Plans are already in the works to bring college wrestling back to Madison Square Garden next year.
Well, what's great about the wrestling community is every time we have a big event, the mindset becomes, how can we do something even bigger? And obviously here we are on a great stage around the holidays, 14 great teams, some great high school wrestling. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Well, when you do something here in the city, it's big, and when we wrestle here, it's big. We just started to beat the streets here a few years ago, and we're getting more youth kids going, and right now we have high school programs going here, and it's Sunday morning, and it's not even noon, and so, you know, put it at a time when it's prime time, I'll tell you what, it's exciting.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. There's a lot more. This is USA Wrestling Weekly. Well, just last weekend, USA Wrestling kicked off a brand new event on the schedule. It's the annual Minnesota Storm Holiday Cup in Rochester, Minnesota. Hosted by one of the nation's most successful wrestling clubs ever, the Minnesota Storm. Competition was held in all three Olympic styles. The field, very strong in Greco, as you might guess. It took place on the final day of the event. Kendrick Sanders of the New York Athletic Club was named the OW, the Outstanding Wrestler in Greco-Roman, after a very impressive victory. That one coming at 145 pounds. In a battle of two of the top Greco stars in the nation, Sanders defeated Rayvon Perkins in the gold medal bout 0-2, 3-0, 5-0. Sanders is a member of the U.S. Olympic Education Center team at Northern Michigan. Perkins is fresh off a gold medal victory at the New York AC International just this last November.
We won the first period. Second period, felt pretty confident about just taking in the Quartier and getting my lift, and I got that right away. Third period, same thing, you know, I chose top, and I ended the match with 5 points.
Well, three members of the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program based in Fort Carson, Colorado, claimed individual gold medals in Greco. Nate Engel of the Army was the champion at 121 pounds when he beat Arthur Carmona of the USOEC in the finals 1-0-2-0. Well, the Army's John Anderson defeated 2010 U.S. World Team member Jake Fisher of the Minnesota Storm at 163 pounds. The final score, 2-0-0-1-1-0. Army star Eric Nye won the gold at 264 pounds, going 4-0 on the day. He scored a 2-0-2-0 victory over Parker Betts of the Minnesota Storm, the eventual runner-up. Joining Sanders on the champions podium was Jesse Williams at the U.S. Olympic Education Center. Sanders beat USOEC teammate Mason Bradford in the 132-pound finals, 1-4, 6-0, 4-0. John Wechter of the Minnesota Storm was the 211-pound champion when he defeated Ethan Donlinger in the finals 2-0, 1-0. Now, the men's freestyle action was held on the first day of the tournament, and a number of nationally ranked stars saw action. Kevin LaValle of the host Minnesota Storm captured the 145-pound division title and was named Outstanding Wrestler in that style. LaValle is a former Bucknell star who now trains in Minnesota. He defeated former Wisconsin star Kyle Rochelle of the New York Athletic Club 1-0, 3-0, 2-2 in the final bout. LaValle won 3 matches on his way to the title in a very competitive bracket.
You know, I was excited when I saw the bracket last night. I was excited because it was one of the bigger brackets of the tournament, and I was excited because there were some tough guys in there. You know, I wrestled Headley first round. Headley's a tough competitor and a good guy to battle with. Wrestled Jeriguay, used to wrestle West Virginia. In the second round, he's always tough, always fights hard. And then obviously that match with Rochelle in the finals was a good match. I was excited to go out there and score some points and battle. And you know what? I know this Minnesota Storm tournament is new this year, but it's just going to continue to grow, continue to build, and I think it's exciting for Minnesota USA Wrestling, and it's exciting for USA Wrestling as a whole. Just having another tournament on the circuit for athletes to be able to get those matches.
LaValle's Storm teammate Zach Sanders won the title at 121 pounds with wins over Steve Minich and Cruz Aris. Sanders was a 2012 University World Silver medalist. Now, 2011 NCAA champ Zach Ray of the Lehigh Valley AC was the heavyweight champion, winning a best-of-3 series over Nicholas Severson in 2 straight bouts. Former Wisconsin star Trevor Brandvold won a competitive 4-athlete round robin for the title at 211 pounds. He scored 3-0 in his bouts. 2 of his victims were respected freestylers, including Big Jack Jensen and Cale Byers. Former Iowa star Philip Ketty took gold for the Hawkeye Wrestling Club at 185 pounds with a 2-0 record in his bouts. 3-athlete round robin, that's what he had to go through, and he defeated eventual silver medalist Dwight Howes of the Olympic Training Center, doing so by fall in the second period. Bebeto Yewa of the Lacrosse Wrestling Club was the 132-pound champ. Yewa, a 2-time Division III national champion, needed 3 matches to defeat veteran Brandon Preeson, a star at Northwestern. Preeson won the first bout by pin, but Yewa came back with 2 of his own to claim the title. Now, there were 2 women's weight classes contested there in this first ever event in Minnesota. The individual champions shared the Outstanding Wrestler Award for the women, including high school star Haley Agello of the New York Athletic Club at 121 pounds and Sydney Nelson of the University of the Cumberlands at 147. Agello was the 2011 Cadet World Champ and won both of her bouts in a best-of-3 series over Sherry Berube. Nelson needed 3 bouts to win her series over college teammate Brittany Gadd. Nelson lost the first match but won the next 2 to claim her gold. We caught up with both women's champs after it was all over.
I've been working on a lot of new stuff at home and practicing more, so it's nice to get out there and work on some stuff that I've been practicing at home. And it's always nice to get some competition in, so I'm grateful that my dad took me out here, and I'm grateful for my coaching, and it's really nice to get on the mat and practice the stuff I've been working on.
It's always good to get more reps, and she bumped up for me so we can wrestle hard, which I'm happy about that. And I worked on my new moves this year, and I hit them hard and I hit them fast, so I'm happy about that.
Stay tuned. We'll be back. There's a lot more. This is USA Wrestling Weekly. Well, held alongside the Minnesota Storm Holiday Cup was one of the nation's top high school holiday events, the 26th annual Minnesota Christmas Tournament, sponsored by Jennie-O Turkey. Organizers brought in Olympic-level athletes for the annual competition, which was webcasted live on our mat.com and the mat.tv. Many of the nation's best high school teams from the northern Midwest competed again this year, and a number of the nation's top individual wrestlers within USA Wrestling were on display. One of the stars of the tournament, Tommy Thorne of St. Michael Albertville High in Minnesota, he captured the title at 120 pounds. Thorne's St. Michael Albertville team captured the team title with 256.5 points when they defeated national power Apple Valley of Minnesota by 9 points. Quezon Manorville was third, Simley fourth, and Cambridge Asani rounded out the top 5. Another national star who captured gold was Apple Valley's Mark Hall, the champ at 152 pounds. Hall pinned Andrew Fogarty of Scott West in the finals, 1 minute 42 seconds. That's all the time it took. Simley star Jake Short was among the other big-name champions, defeating Travis Holt of Cambridge Asante with a pin at 1 minute 13 seconds for the title. West Fargo's Preston Lehman was the champ at 182 pounds. He stopped Porter Sechrist of Wabash Kellogg in the finals 5-0. Now, the holiday season has a strong tradition of outstanding high school wrestling tournaments all across the country. We encourage all of you to attend one of these events in your area and get out and support our high school athletes. Well, who says wrestling can't be funny? while viewers of the popular NBC Today show weighed in with their thoughts. In a week-long vote on its website, 10 clips to choose from, Today show viewers selected a feature from the 2012 Olympic Games in London. Today anchors Matt Lauer and Al Roker attended a U.S. Olympic team Greco-Roman practice where they received instruction from Olympians Dramil Byers and Ellis Coleman, as well as National Greco-Roman coach Steve Frazier. The wrestlers tossed Matt and Al around during the training session. Later, Matt and Al both got suited up for a Greco match of their own on the mat at the Olympic venue. The segment was shown at the conclusion of the Olympic Games. Stay tuned. We'll be back. There's a lot more. This is USA Wrestling Weekly. Well, the U.S. Olympic Committee recently polled fans on their Facebook page about their favorite moments from the 2012 London Summer Games. With more than 500 responses, the USOC published the top 12 moments from London and the fan response. Well, the favorite was, of course, Jordan Burroughs and his gold medal effort at 163 pounds. Burroughs won in impressive fashion in London, adding Olympic gold to his 2011 world title. Burroughs is yet to lose a match on the senior level. 3 of the moments selected by fans were in swimming, and 2 were in women's gymnastics. With USA winning the medal count with 46 total gold and 104 total, it was a great honor for Jordan to be named as the fan favorite. Well, it's time for our Photo of the Week contest. The pictures are sent in by wrestling families and fans from around the country and are being considered for the photo contest page in USA Wrestler magazine, as well as on our USA Wrestling Facebook page. This week, our Photo of the Week is taken by Tracy Blackston, and it shows 9th grader Christopher Blackston of Adairsville High School in Georgia and a recent event in Koala Creek, Georgia. Have your photographs considered for our photo contest simply by emailing them. Well, folks, that'll do it.